Sir, if I may say so, an urgent things does not take hours to tell. A crisis requires swift action and does not warrant long speeches. It is about time that this country recognized adequately that we live in a time of deep crisis. I am not mentioning this word repeatedly to frighten you, but to make you aware that something more than casual talks and discussions is necessary, and to tell you that the government in any part of India may have to act swiftly because of this crisis. You must also realize that any government, if it has to function adequately, must have the support of the country. Otherwise, you may also have unstable and weak governments which, even when they are very good or wise governments, just cannot function effectively. It is very bad for a country to have weak and unstable governments in such times. It does not really matter to me what government you have, but it is obvious that only a government that can decide swiftly and act effectively will be able to control the destinies of the country in a crisis. This crisis cannot be easily or even quickly overcome. Fortunately, in a few months' time, the country will have an opportunity of choosing any government it wants to. I hope it will choose a stable government and not a weak one. Many of our problems have deeper causes than can be dealt with by accounting methods. We should study, analyze, and understand them. We should try to understand not only their deeper causes in the wide world but the psychology of our own people. All of us are too apt to advise others and do not, in our turn, learn from others. Psychology means a good deal, and a great deal depends on how others are feeling about the course of events. If people feel that things are going wrong, then even the satisfaction that they are acting rightly is not enough. So we come back to the same question: how are we to evolve a policy whereby we can gain our social objectives? I should say that the only right way to do it from a governmental point of view is through what is known as the Planning Commission. I do not understand why people go on thinking of the Planning Commission as an ostentatious body making wild schemes for which we may or may not have the resources. I have said more than once that such a conception is wrong. The Planning Commission has no business to make any wild schemes at any time. It must always make schemes which can be given effect to and which are practical. We need a planning commission to tell us how we can utilize our resources to the best possible advantage without wasting them. Eminent men who are not troubled by daily difficulties of administration are trying to look at the whole picture impartially and discussing with members of the government, industry, labor, and so on. If these men are not good enough, we shall fail. But that is the only possible approach we can make to our problems. It is no longer possible and no longer right for all the chambers of commerce or labor unions of the world to tell us that they will show us the direction in which we should go. The sooner we realize this, the better it will be. We have private enterprise in this country, of course, and we encourage it. We talk about the private sector and the public sector, but I think that when you come to grips with the subject from a practical point of view, there is usually